All right. Welcome live to the Focus Podcast number 22. And I think my mic's crackling a bit there, but let's just bring myself in there. Hey, how's it going? And just going to turn this bugger down a bit. That's a ditty from my new album, AM Grinding. And I'm your host, Focus. And welcome. This is the Focus Podcast, episode number 22. The last day of April. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Moving on. So, I do a podcast here every Friday night. We're live on 2 Facebook channels. We're live on Twitter. And we're live on Twitch as well. So we are doing 5 channels at once. So we're going to try a first tonight as well for 3 guests. There goes the audio. I'll just cut it off completely. It's a one-man show, folks. This is all I got here to work with. So most of my guests have been artists I've performed with or I've known for a while. And these young men are from Peterborough. And I've done a couple of shows with them. And they were a lot of fun, a lot of entertainment. And the last time I toured was the beginning of March. And I played with these guys in Peterborough. And that was it. After that, pretty much the week after that, everything shut down and it was lights out for live shows. So, just been chatting with folks every week and just seeing what they're up to. What if they're still making music, if they have anything to release. So this is Focus Podcast. And tonight, have 2 guests, and I have another guest, band from the West Coast, Sound Bodacious. They're going to join us later in the show. And after this evening, moving forward, next Friday's show and moving forward, I'm going to be moving the time to 7 p.m. because I'm going to start to accommodate my friends and guests from overseas. So I'm trying to accommodate their time change so it's not too late for them over there. And just trying to expand the show globally. And so I want to plug another important thing. Next Friday, May 7th, is another Bandcamp Friday. And Bandcamp has been doing a great job in this lockdown of helping out artists get all the money they deserve. And they're waiving their usual 15% collection fee per album every first Friday of the month. So the next one is next Friday, May 7th, 5 days after my birthday. So if you want to just buy an album, go right ahead. I got 3 of them up for sale. I got this one, free to choose. This one, Bad Meat LP. And this one, AM Grinding. So, lots to choose from. And if you know an artist, if you know anybody that's kind of, struggling for income with this stuff, Bandcamp's a good platform to give them money straight up. Any day of the week. But that Friday, especially next Friday, May 7th, is an important one to help us artists out because there is no touring. There's not a lot of avenues for making money. And we want to keep doing this, but it incurs a little bit of costs and expenses. So, helps balance it out a little bit. So next Friday, Bandcamp Friday, and that's my tag. You can check it out. May 7th. And I'm going to be doing a performance show next Friday. I'll be playing most of my tracks, and I'm going to have another rapper on, young gentleman named EM Lord, fine young man. He'll be joining the show as well. So, no further ado, I'm going to try and bring in my guest here, and let's see what I can do here. We got Patrick, and we got Bradley. Let's see if this works. I hear you guys. Sometimes
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
just want to behave. There we go. It works. And Patrick's on top. All right, on.
I'm always on top.
Yeah, that's the way to go, man. How's it going, guys?
How you doing?
No better way to start.
Hey.
Welcome to my podcast, man.
Yeah,
I'm so excited to be here doing anything related to music right now. So thank you.
No problem. This is the first I've done a quad split, so we did it. First try.
Yeah, my first four-way too, baby.
Yeah.
Four handsome men. One chat.
It's Friday night. It is Friday night. So
it's still early.
Yeah, exactly. 9 o'clock. Yeah. How are you guys doing?
Really good. Really good.
The obvious. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting that sweet EI for the first time.
Nice.
Apparently working 7 days a week in a pandemic pays off eventually.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome to the EI. Welcome. So let's introduce you guys. We got Patrick, Glenn, and Bradley. You guys are all make up Death by Art School. How's it going?
Great.
Good.
Yeah. Happy to be here. So happy.
So, I mean, are you going to introduce yourself, Patrick, or are you just going to be a grandpa over there?
I'm going to be a grandpa. Well, I am the second oldest, so. You know. Yes, we are. We are Death by Art School. I've been doing this project for 17 years now, I guess. And
longer than I've been alive.
Right, which is insane. Bradley and Glenn joined. Well, sorry, Bradley joined what? Almost 3 years now. Bradley?
Yeah, I guess 3 years ago.
Yeah, and Glenn joined about 2 almost.
About yeah.
So it's a new. I would say it's a new project now. It's one of a kind now. It's changed, evolved so much over the years. It didn't even used to be hip hop. I mean, it used to be weird experimental music. It's always been costumes and different stage theatrics and different themes. But now it's one of a kind. Yeah. I'd say it's probably the best it's ever been in 17 years, which is pretty exciting.
That is exciting to hear, Patrick, because you've done a lot of wild stuff over the years with other formations of this project. And, you know, I really am happy to be on stage with you pouring out all this creative energy. And that's truly what, you know, the last couple of years of creating music with this band has been. It's just like pure, chaotic, artistic energy, different every time we hit the stage. And I've always appreciated your willingness to accept our ideas and Glenn's heavy lifting with all that bass.
For sure. Well, it's I've always said Death by Art School is a collective. I mean, you know, the members within the band as well as people outside of it that believe in the project. So it's a wonderful thing of people working together to bring it to fruition and make it happen.
I like how you described it right there, because that's a pure description of Peterborough to me. And excuse the viewers, sorry, you guys are from Peterborough, and it kind of exemplifies the camaraderie of artists in Peterborough. I've only had 2 gigs there, but I feel like there's a really nice, tight, niche group of artists in Peterborough, and it allows everybody to be kind of like more experimentative, more I don't know. Yeah. Maybe that it was just that venue that made me feel like it was more of a open-minded place. You know what I'm saying?
You got it right. That's what Peterborough's like.
Yeah,
you nailed it. Considering you're just a visitor, but there's something so special about the scene here in that, you know, as much as the small local businesses struggle through the gentrification, there's always been a huge group of other artists and other musicians propping each other up and working their asses off. And we have art crawls and so many underground shows, and the punkiness and the renegade of it all is really special, and it is something that is super unique to downtown Peterborough, and I'm glad that you got to have a little taste of that.
Definitely.
Yeah, before all this shit went fucking lockdown city.
Yeah.
And that was that was really a fun road trip for me. It's tough when you're alone, and I really appreciate like the warm sense of home you guys gave me to start off the tour. It was really nice, and the two times I did do gigs with you guys, it felt like a family right away, and
Yeah.
it felt like very warm and
We packed that
embracing.
room.
It was great. It's two times we packed that place. It was like a Monday or a Tuesday, and it was rainy, and we're like, I don't know what's gonna happen, and then it was great. It was a fantastic night.
This outfit today is kind of like a nod to our last show, where we hit the stage dressed as grannies, and it was so much fun. So much fun.
Well,
I've
I
got
dug
my
up some.
Golden Girls shot glass too.
Bear with me. I dug up some. Here we go. Let's. Here we go. Here's the boys here. And you had a keyboard player too. Was that just for a time being, or is that like?
Yeah,
we were hoping to have her full time, but she had to leave for just various reasons. So we're still looking for a keys player if anyone's interested.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was our first time playing with them, and they made us sound so good. And of course, a week later,
oh yeah, she was awesome.
That's when all the worldwide lockdown happened. But
it's like a gypsy in the background there.
Yeah, such a talented musician. She jumped right in and picked up our songs and made them so special.
Probably one of the best shows with them. Like that it was very exciting. So
I'll be honest with you guys, that's the most fun I've ever had in the show. Yeah, anywhere, any gig with anybody.
Did you hear that, Glenn? You're fun.
Yeah. It was just a lot of fun. So. It reminds me of this place called Not My Dog in Toronto a long time ago that I used to go to, and
look at that.
It just people would show up and just kind of like do all different types of gigs. Oh, you guys killed it.
That
I remember
dress looks so good on me.
I think it was I think you came up to me, Patrick. It was maybe the first show we played together, and it might have been you, Bradley. You were like, do you mind if we go last? It's and I'm like, yeah, sure, but why? And you're like, yeah, we're just gonna make a big mess. So it's probably.
It's such a beautiful thing. It's almost like a way to get to headline. We were like, man, we were gonna make a mess. And people were like, okay, you go last. You go last. It's
out of all the shows I've played with Patrick and this project, I have only been in not the headliner once. Only once, and we were playing Bovine, and High Heels Lo-Fi went last. But this is like this little secret way to get to be the headliners, to always say you're going to make a mess, as long as you follow through, I guess.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, you guys like taught me a lesson too, like that day of like kind of utilizing the tour properly. And I never knew really like what the actual procedure was of like who goes first and goes last and all that shit. I heard like it's different in Canada and the States, and I kind of just did all this on my own. So I'd always figure like, whoever's doing the tour, they go last. So I would just I did that. But then after when I played with you guys and I was like, well, I need to last all tour. I can't fucking like, I gotta fucking like I need enough rest. So I started like going first and second, and then it's like so much better for me. And as well as like, you guys are the more known act in town, so it's like you guys are bringing more people, so it's like it only makes sense for you guys to go last, or the local act to go last, to keep everybody around,
But also, how much fun is it to get your set out of the way and then get to fucking
so
party?
Much fun to have. You just took the words out of my mouth. Exactly that I wanted to do. I was just like, I can have some drinks early and recover still, and make it to the next show the next day. But yeah, that was fun. This was great, man. You guys were old ladies this
I
one,
haven't
right?
seen these photos. This is great.
So fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
We even had fake breasts and everything. Where are yours though, Bradley?
I think I decided
Did they
against them
fall
because my
out?
dress was too tight.
Oh,
My
so I
wig
saw mine
fell
were
off in the
my
first
sagging
song.
ones underneath. Yeah, mine
Yeah.
are in there.
The
Oh,
gloves
yeah.
were just a nice.
Yeah,
a
and
nice
I had a
touch,
little
really.
purse filled with Werthers and pennies, and I was tipping the bartender with little rolls of pennies, and we put licorice all sorts on all the tables and crystal bowls, and
Oh my god.
I made the audience take shots of bourbon with me out of antique teacups. It was just such a riot.
All right, hold on. I got the clip for you guys.
No
Check this
way.
out. Yeah, watch this.
Amazing.
With some cash when you are through, you get in your car that was parked valet. This has been such a fun shopping day. You get to your house and open the door. What do I see but a shiny dance floor? I dropped all my things and got into position. If I want to dance, can I have your permission? He said with a smile, show me what you got. Said everyone, this is gonna be hot. Dance, dance, baby, dance, dance. Baby, dance, dance, baby.
Wild man, Bradley.
That was
So much fun.
awesome. Yeah, that was yeah, your tea set. That was great. So tell me about the process, Patrick. Like, you know, that's a long time. That's almost 20 years.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a lot of
wild.
experimenting, I guess you'd say, you know?
Yeah, so way back, James Cope, he is the father of Death by Art School. He liked to make beats, and he asked me if I wanted to write lyrics and do vocals with him, and I said, sure, let's do this. So we started it. I have no idea. I wish I could remember how it turned into costume and whatnot and experimental, but it was always very plush toy themed. I always had plush toys. I had like my hand through a plush toy that I'd cut out for the microphone. I had a big plush toy around my waist, and it was always very plush toy themed. Not hip hop at all, as I was saying.
Yeah.
Really just me attempting to try to sing experimentally. We had live guitar, bass sometimes as well. We also had a live painter that would paint abstractly.
Oh, dope.
Which was so much fun. And then from there, when Evan Doherty, he joined us, it turned into kind of the Beastie Boys style hip hop, the back and forth. Still with the costume stuff, but we decided we wanted to have set themes for every show. And that's kind of where that evolved. And then it was dead for a couple years, and I was talking to Bradley, and we were like, we need to get this started again. And I think I thought he'd be the perfect person for the project. And then what was the story with Glenn Bradley at practice?
We just showed up to our practice space one day, and Glenn was using the space before us, and we're like, no, you want to stay? And then he jammed with us. Why don't you tell it, Glenn? I mean, it's your story.
I'd been there playing with another band, and these guys showed up, and I asked if I could join in because I wasn't done playing yet. So it just started there.
And it worked great.
I love the songs. I love their energy. Love playing with these guys. It's been a great fun.
Speaking of the energy, I think what became so special after you joined is the dramatic difference of energy in that. I mean, this picture itself speaks volumes, where we've always played off of Glenn being such a professional and really good at playing the bass. So we have him constantly standing there void of emotion a lot of the time while I dance like an idiot flailing around him.
That's a good contrast. Yeah,
and I whisper weird things in his ears while he's trying to concentrate.
It's almost like the guard in what's the London Guard?
Sure, yeah.
Not
allowed to move or say anything.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Good old Glendolyn.
Well, you guys complement each other very well on stage, and it's such a great performance. You know, I love the performance art with it as well. And if you look at all these CDs here, this is my I guess catalog. This is 20 years. I've done hip hop for 20 years.
Nice.
And the guy I was with was my good buddy that I met in school, and we just started experimenting in like the radio labs. and we started making beats on fucking 8-track carts and transferring it to Saw. It was the first like digital program to use. Then we had zip drives that we could only transfer 2 beats at a time. So we transfer the zip drive to the computer. Then we loop like the beat into a long laid out timeline and use like the Radio Lab microphones to make lyrics. And we'd make our own hip hop songs, put our shit together, and we came out with an album finally. So I did 4 albums with this guy, and his name was Poetical, and I kind of came up with that name, and he came up with the name Focused. He's the one who invented it 20 years ago. But his style was always like way out there. The hip hop we did was very experimental, and we did this album called Kiss 'Em, and it was very like electronic, super electronic, and it was kind of, like really out there, but I felt like he was always way ahead of his time. And then like trap beats started coming out after that, and he was like already, but yeah, you guys remind me of that, like of that whole, visual package with the energy and the experimental beats and stuff like that with the live musicians, because that's what we incorporated. We had the backing tracks, and we would add a guitar player or a saxophone player, and that's how I kind of like expanded my live show as well, right? So it's like I love that mix, because you can't have a drummer all the time, and it's hard to arrange and set up. It's just easier with the backing tracks. And then not only with the backing tracks, you have the live musician that gives it more emphasis. Like Bradley said, it just gives it that more energy,
more depth,
and depth. And with like hip hop, it's hard if you're just the only one performing. It's like you have to really engage the attention all the time.
Right.
And that's a hard thing to do. But when you have live musicians and another band member, another vocalist, it's easier to throw it back and forth. And that you guys have a great style like that. And
the first show I ever did with DeathByArtSchool, we had a live drummer as well. And that was so hectic. And I don't know how many more did we do with live drums. I'm not sure too many
like
more.
Two or three, maybe 2.
It just got. I mean, as much fun as it was to try and load this project up with as much live entertainment and live instruments, and we even had someone pretend to be a DJ at one point. And the drumming was maybe too much because he couldn't hear the backtracks that well, and then you're dealing with 2 different beats. But
it's so much harder. It adds so much more of like a headache in a way, you know what I mean? A band is so hard to get together with everybody and everybody on time and sound check and everything. And you always kind of feel guilty with the drummer because it's the only one not having fun at the end, still striking his stuff,
Yeah.
And that's how I felt like with hip hop myself. And it just made it easier for myself to travel. It made myself easier to accommodate and play places and quick setup and get out and also like be more flexible with quicker sound checks and stuff like that. It just gave me a lot more flexibility. And your guys' beats sound great, and if it's produced well enough, then it's the same thing almost as having almost the same thing. Yeah. But it's like
I love what our producer did. I mean, we can be tedious, Patrick and I, when it comes to like communicating with our producer, and the things that we need in order to have like a good live show are really good, backtracks that discludes some things, like maybe doesn't want as much bass on the backtrack, so he can live bass. And it is quite a process to have 2 different versions of our songs. And our producer did such a good job on our last album. And we're working on a new album. Spoiler alert. We've got, Patrick, how many songs we got lined up?
I think 7.
7.
Yeah.
Um,
Some
I
have I
almost
played
missed
live
this because I was
before,
recording tracks for it.
and then the rest are just like brand spanking new.
That's
Yeah.
wicked, man. That's so. You guys had. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you have the 2 albums out? Or
Well, there's a funny thing. We really only have the one. After 17
one?
years, we have one official album,
Oh, that's great though.
which is kind
Like,
of crazy. But now the new goal is one a year.
yes.
That's what we'd like to try to
And
do.
when did that first one come out? Because I know I first played with you guys like at least 2 years ago.
It was
April
2019.
2019.
Yeah, that's when it was. Yeah.
So it was pretty fresh. It was. I think I played with you guys that summer. I
Yeah.
believe it was.
And this one's going to be different. This is going to be fun. It's going to be, I don't even know, it's like funk 90s hip hop. It's that's what we're going for.
Wait, was our first
Nice.
show together? Was that the Cherry Pie Daisy Dukes?
Yes. Yes. And I every time somebody asks me about like doing shows and stuff like that, that story, I love it so much. And my dad was with me. I don't know if you guys remember my
Oh,
dad came with
yeah.
me. And so my dad has been delivering in Peterborough for like 35 years.
Wow.
And he does like restaurant equipment and stuff
Okay.
like that. And so I used to come with him as a kid. And I think I was probably 9 years old, maybe 10 years old. And I would just tag along with him, go in these kitchens and just wait for him and to do like, they do the knife exchange. So they sharpen the knives
Oh,
and they exchange them. So
Nella?
long story, that's holy, actually, long story short, Nella, my grandfather brought those, the sons over from Italy with money that he had. And they took all of his customers after and became a
jeez.
rival company. And they became the like monopoly of that. And my dad was like the little guy against that company. My
That is
grandfather.
so funny.
Yeah. So my dad
Because-
was like the small company doing the same thing that Nella did. So yeah, my dad had a good foothold in Peterborough over 35 years. And so anyways, he would bring me delivering. And I went to a strip club with him. I don't remember where it was, but it was upstairs. And I walked upstairs with him and he's like, just stand here, right? And then I think I was in the kitchen, but I like saw down the hallway and I saw the stage and I was like, what's that? I was like probably 9-10 years old. And I was like, all right, nice. And then a stripper walked in. She had no top on. And I'm just there as a 9-year-old. I'm like, holy shit. So Peterborough was my first exposure to exposure.
Thursdays, was it?
But anyways, leading into that, I'm trying to twist around here to the story of that night, our first show we played together. You guys asked 2 young ladies or any volunteers if they didn't mind getting cherry pie on their cleavage. Or somebody, and 2 young ladies volunteered. They seemed to know you guys, and they were like all good with it. And I think my dad was there too. And then you guys did the show, and then you like put cherry pie all over the fucking place, hence the mess. And that's why you guys asked to go last.
Yeah.
And my dad was loving it. It was fun, man. It was a good fucking show. It was, and there was a lot of mess. There was like,
Can I just like double back for a second? I work in the
sorry.
restaurant industry. You know, being a small town musician doesn't necessarily pay the bills, but so I am a cook. I'm a chef, and we have always had, as restaurant workers, this weird feeling that the knife sharpening companies in Peterborough are like some weird Italian mob, and you just like confirmed all of our suspicions. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so
that's so funny.
My great-grandfather came over from Italy, and it's this little town called Pinzolo, and it's the northern part of Italy. And this is, let me show you the graphic. This is my logo.
Right.
So it's my great-grandfather from like 1904. He came from this little town in Italy, came to Canada with this profession, and everybody the main profession all came from one little town in Italy called Pinzolo, and they all spread out to North America. So later, the Nella kids came over, and my grandfather helped paid for their tickets to come over from Italy. And then they developed the same company that my grandfather had, and just expanded. And they recruited my dad a few years ago, but he didn't want to work for them.
I have Nella knives in my home kitchen downstairs right now.
There's probably some mafia tie. There's a lot of mafia ties because it's all restaurant too.
Yeah. Anyways, that's just a funny little Peterborough anecdote.
Yeah,
but I'm
no,
glad
no.
that you cleared some questions up.
So yeah, it's I felt like Peterborough I knew a little bit, I had a little bit of ties with, and I felt very comfortable playing there. And hopefully we can do it again.
Yeah, hopefully.
There's a great history of people bringing their parents and their family to our shows, almost as like a gotcha moment where these kids, these awesome downtown personalities, they bring family members or partners who have no idea what they're about to get themselves into, and then will like squirt fake blood everywhere on their like grandparents, And I remember we did one show at an art gallery.
Oh yes.
And we were not aware about how calm the first two acts were going to be.
So calm.
And the whole audience was just like their parents, their grandparents, their neighbors.
That's
it was
awesome.
It felt like a community coming
so
together.
Like acoustic guitar kind of.
Like it was, and it was packed. Like it was packed
of people, mostly retirees. And
been there, done that. I've done
and
that.
We just start screaming and throwing paint everywhere. It was so stupid.
And they actually loved us and like mentioned that. Like, wow, that was so great. It was fantastic. It was quite receptive.
That's the best is when you catch somebody by surprise like that, and they had no idea what's coming up, and you get nice genuine reactions from people.
Definitely.
It was a lot of fun to like trash an art gallery with paint though. That was we were wearing like those white home hardware jumpsuits, painter suits.
Oh, this one's, I think you guys sent me a photo.
I'm not sure.
Or this is the Doctor
one. Oh, that's the release.
That's the album release.
Yeah.
Was that Bovine?
Nope, that was a Red Dog.
Got you, in Peterborough.
Yeah.
I remember you guys played in Bovine, I believe it was like January one year, a couple of years ago. And coincidentally, I played the exact same night at the exact same time
and we were hoping to hook up, but we couldn't.
We both played at 11, like at the exact same time slot. Yeah. I think I was Horseshoe or whatever.
Just down the street from each other.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, it's what do you guys see going forward with venues and stuff like that? I've been asking everybody, and it's hard to say. It's really hard to say what's gonna happen. And from my perspective, like I got to see Canada the last year, 2 years before everything shut down, and I had kind of this feeling that there's going to be a change anyways, regardless of this, of this lockdown. And moving forward with technology, like stuff like this, I think personally, the smaller venues like the Garnet could benefit with some technology. And more, I think the ones that are going to survive are like integrated ones where they can become a different cafe or like something else. The ones that just rely on like we're just this rock venue, I don't think they're going to last.
What I think is going to happen, what I predict is, because Peterborough used to be known for creating huge stars. We had a crazy music scene for like the last decade, and it started to wither out even before the pandemic. But now, because of the pandemic, we only have like 2 or 3 places left that once we are allowed to play live music, we will still be able to play live music. What we do have, though, is a lot of small black box theater. We have community-based spaces, and we have art gallery spaces that I'm sure will start to find ways to be transformative and more inclusive for music performance, because we don't have many options left as live musicians, even now. So I can't even imagine if the pandemic goes much longer, how much more it'll affect the small businesses we do have left, and it's not many.
No.
So we will see. I'm sure we will see a lot of transformative things happen to community spaces, to include music.
Sure.
Well, yeah, and I think there's another opportunity for a collective community for the arts. I think the way I used to look at much music, the way I used to look at like hip hop, it's like everybody has their specialties and there's a place where everybody can come together and share their specialties with each other. So I think moving forward, places like that could integrate people with camera skills and streaming skills and artistic skills and visual artistic skills and the musicians in general. And I think the most important thing moving forward with the venues, and I think that the venues need to understand this, that the musicians are the number one priority now. You know what I mean? It's always been, I've gotten this sense going around Canada that we're like responsible for everything, for the venues, for shows and all this stuff. And it was this, I don't know if I'm alone on this, but it's this sense of like a lot of the venues just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
They were
they
just
don't
like,
pay minimums, and every
no,
musician has to own their own equipment and bring it. So there's not much
yeah,
support that was happening from venues.
no. The
And then they were
majority of the places, like you
charging.
get,
Yeah.
yeah.
I work
What
for
are
a
you gonna
bar,
say?
and above us is a
Yeah.
theater, and the theater charges $400 for a band to use it for the night to play a show. $400. And
Who
no,
can come up? Yeah,
right? You just have
yeah.
to like imagine that you can get 40 people to pay $10. And if it's not a weekend, then you're screwed. I don't know. $400 is a lot of fucking money for a small musician.
Well, I hope that like maybe like things with live streaming could help musicians where, I think there's money available, you know what I mean? There's government money that's allocated for arts and entertainment and music and all this stuff, and I think there just needs to be a new direction and a new focal point of where it should go, and maybe get some sponsorship for local venues that have live streaming and stuff like that to help get the platform set to reach a better audience. And then the artists that are performing there can have a better reach. And then maybe there's a potential of like some more, pay to watch, there's potential for some more sponsorship because there's more of an audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe the venues could put a little into, promotion and stuff like that, because I felt going and touring around Canada too, and especially in Toronto. Toronto's a really go fuck you place. You know what I mean? It's a really hard place for artists, and the venues are not really nice,
Yeah. And they put like 7 people on one bill.
Yeah. So it's like, how am I going to get people to come out for $20 to see me for 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes? It's not possible. So I hope that moving forward, that in the eyes of the venue, it's like this, we're, the top draw, you know what I mean? There has to be more emphasis on helping us promote the things, because I always felt like the venues are like, okay, well, you promote everything. It's on you to promote everything. And it's like, well, okay, I'll try, but I'm not from here.
Yeah. and it's all out of pocket, which is why I think we, correct me if I'm wrong, Patrick and Glenn, but I think it's really great that we have this special thing about us where we created the cult appeal, where people want to come and see us regardless of advertising. So we cut that part out by just being ridiculous.
Yep.
And what that does for the touring musicians we've worked with is it helps this ground up crowd showing up for these people that they've never heard of, and then having a fucking blast because they know what they're there to see, and that's us be idiots. And then the whole room just feels alive from start to finish, regardless of who's on the stage. I think we've created something pretty special. I don't know necessarily if it was by design or by accident of our personalities just meshing in such a fun way, but I'm really proud of what we do and how it helps traveling musicians. And I mean, to hear you, even from the top of this show, say that it was one of your favorite things you've ever done, that's so important to hear. And I wish that there was like a way to cultivate that in more places and to help other bands realize that they have the power to do that. Because it is hard to be someone who has to pay something out of pocket in hopes that you make enough money at the door. There's never a guarantee. It's a gamble. It's terrifying sometimes, especially when we are people who put a lot of almost maybe sometimes Glenn might say to our downfall, Patrick and I put so much thought process into the in-between, the nuance, the costume, and that costs money. At the end of the day, it's something we get to wear once and then we destroy it, and we better hope we make door sales.
Yeah, I'm always about breaking even. If we can break even, I'm happy.
Yeah, that's my motto too.
Yeah, generally we can do that. Generally, I mean.
Yeah. Well, I did 6-7 shows that week, and I made money on 2 shows, and one was with you guys, and it was a lot of fun. And you know what? Like I said, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been doing the solo stuff for 10 years. I've been touring for about 5 years. And and this is just me, and of what I've learned is that like honesty is the most important thing. And it's like the loyalty and honesty is the most important thing. And to build up like these friendships and stuff like this is really goes a long way of us being not so many musicians in this country, you know what I mean? And I think this is what I'm trying to do with this podcast is just give us a nice connection. So when we can get up and start going and doing tours again, is that we can start helping each other. It's like, I got to go here, but I got a place to stay. You know what I mean? Like doing things like that where we can help and cure costs for each other, touring, and get it back to the old school way of like how it used to be doing things like that. And then with this podcast also, I'd like to use it as a platform for when we get to tour again. And it's like, hey, we got somebody here, and then tomorrow night we're going to be at this venue. But yeah, I think it's super important to have good relationships with other bands and in cities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
On that note of relationships, how did we meet and when?
So, that's what. It goes back to your working in the kitchen, Bradley. So my dad has always been like a huge like pusher for me. He's always like pushed my this album all the time. He's given it to people in Italy, all over the place, and he always bigs me up. So he's in.
My dad does the same thing.
My dad's my biggest fan. He's like such a good, and he doesn't even like rap music, but he just does it because he does it.
For my birthday last month, my dad had a whole bunch of custom T-shirts made as my birthday gift and surprised me with them with my band on them.
That's the nicest. That's awesome. That's so sweet.
Dads are the best, aren't they?
They're the best. Shout out to my dad, Big Joe.
If I could marry one, I would.
So yeah, he that'll be the next show. We'll do that live.
Yeah, for sure. That's just a good idea.
Patrick and I did get married at a show once.
You did. You had a whole wedding. That was insane. That was at the Bovine, right? No. No, that was in Peterborough. That was at the Garden. That was
we also did it at a live festival as well.
Fucking right.
But the real $1 million question is, did we really get married?
I want a divorce. I'm tired of paying child support.
I know, right?
Is that the child you're paying for? Right there.
That's our child.
My ceramic child, yes.
Oh. Anyways, my dad was talking to people in the kitchen and gave a few of the guys my CDs. And there was one guy, I can't remember what restaurant it was. It might be the Black Horse or that one. What's that one called?
That's Black Horses, right?
Black Horse. Okay. There was somebody working there, and then somebody said garbage face.
Oh, yes.
Mentioned garbage face. So I looked him up and I reached out to him, and he was nice. He got back to me and we spoke. But he was busy, and then he recommended you guys. So he recommended you and another group. So I reached out to you guys and another group, and you guys got back, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. This is great. This is exactly what I need. And then we did a show in the summer. I think I did that, and I went to Ottawa, and then Montreal. I did like a 3-day show. And art shows, you mentioned the art shows. I did one of those in Montreal. It was the coolest fucking thing. It was a loft party.
I love Montreal loft parties.
Art Jam, it was called. Art Jams. And 4 easels, maybe like 8 easels, 8 painters all around. And they started with my set. And so I played first. My friend Leah played, and then this group, Kofnats and Christine Elise, they played. And by the time the 3 of us did our sets, they were done their paintings. And it was cool. What did I say? I started like, I hope my emotion in this performance doesn't change your painting at all. But I guess they were freestyling it, so I guess it had some influence on them. But it was really cool. It was like a cool, different experience to do a show. And there's a painting at the end.
You're making me so nostalgic. I want to be on a stage so fucking bad. I want a crowd of people screaming at us and repeating our lyrics. Like, I would settle for karaoke at this point. I'm so desperate to be on a stage with a microphone. Like, Alex, what do you think if you could like get back and have a blowout show, your first live show on a stage with a crowd again? Like, what could you do? Do you think you would change things up? Do you think that you would do something more grand because you have ideas that you've been working on? What would you do if you could be live again?
I'm glad you asked me that, because I was just thinking of that right now. I was just thinking of that idea. Well, this live streaming stuff has taught me a lot. Like, I don't know if most people know, but I've worked, in broadcast for 15 years, live television, sports, mostly the Leafs and the Raptors. So my whole career is gone. It's just been like a year. I've worked one day this last 400 days. It's fucking sucked. But sometimes things happen for a reason. And I've really learned a lot with this streaming just by doing my own drive and my own trial and error. I've learned a whole fucking lot, and I've learned how to do it all integrated into a multi-camera show. So back in September, Nelson started putting on the open mic again at Painted Lady, the Monday night open mics, and started doing it from his home. And then we had this window where things started opening up again, and he started doing the Monday nights live there again. So I got to go for a couple months every Monday night, and it was under the radar. It was kind of like just letting us artists know. So there'd be like half a dozen of us show up. So I got to play on a stage again, and I was like, 7 months, and I was like so fucking happy. And it just like sparked all these ideas for me, and it's like, holy fuck, I got 15 years of broadcast like experience of the highest level. Like, I've done everything, the Junos, you name it, like the biggest shows that have ever come to Toronto, I've been a part of. I've worked with the biggest and the best of the people in production. So I'm like, I should bring this to music venues, because that's the missing link. It's like the missing link is the high-end quality professionalism look into the indie scene. You know what I mean? And I'm like, we can help each other. So I convinced the owners at the Painted Lady to upgrade their internet to fiber. and we started doing a multi-camera shoot there. So I did one for myself in the middle of October, and you can check it out on this channel on YouTube. And we did one for 3 other artists. So it was like a showcase show where I'm interviewed, like I do an intro and then I throw to the stage, and we did like 40-minute show for each artist. And so once things open up again, I already did it. Like we did the trial and error already. So I'm just waiting for the green light of when we can open up. But I don't see that fully happening. So I'm anticipating that negative aspect of it. So what I want to do, and the reason behind my podcast here and keeping everybody together, is like, worst case Ontario, I like to at least get a tour going. And what we can do maybe is like, and I spoke with this with somebody the other night. I think places like the Garnet can make and adapt. You know what I mean? So if we're not allowed to bring everybody inside, maybe they can use that back parking lot. And
we were actually talking. You and I were talking about that.
You and I were talking. Sorry, my bad. We were talking about that when we did the test. But I think that can happen. I think that is a possibility of integrating everything with some live music venues once the weather changes. And so I'm looking at that, and that's what I want to do, and then incorporate the live streaming. Now, if each venue doesn't have fiber Wi-Fi, then I have a 5G phone. So this is what I've learned, is that your 5G phone is a hub. It's basically like its own, tower. So you can tether your phone off into your computer and use it as the hub, and you can broadcast live from your computer with your 5G phone as a hub, and you can do a multi-camera shoot. So we could do something from the venue. And now I'm thinking outside of the box, literally, of like, once the weather's warm, we could do that anywhere. So that's the possibility. It's like the possibilities are endless, and it's like we can get very creative. It's like we could all have a tour, and
I love to
like,
see it. This is the passion we need coming from artists to help other artists. And I think it's just really fun to listen to, because Patrick and I are, for better or worse, are really bad with technology, it turns out. And it became a running joke that we would have to anticipate some kind of technical difficulty every single show.
With the laptop or with anything. It's always been a thing.
That won't happen anymore.
No, we're good.
Because Glenn's a genius, and
we got Glenn. Glenn's behind things now, so we're okay.
But I would love to be able to do these sort of collaborations you're talking about with more production. And we've been really fortunate to have Patrick's friend / fan. Is his name Dan English?
Yeah, for filming.
Dan English.
Yeah, he's done really high quality filming about almost every single one of the shows we've done in the last 3 years. And it's such a great tool to have, because he would hook up something to record the audio straight from like the soundboards, and then he would give us like a half an hour fully formed music video of our live performance. And I think that's something that I would always recommend to other artists, is if you are not recording your shows, like, get someone, shell a couple $100 if you have
some sort of footage. Yeah.
Because it comes in handy when it comes to grants too. And right now, that's what we're based on grants. Like in Ontario, almost all the arts grants are now new digital media grants to turn your art firm into something that can work online. So like, if we ever needed to do that, we have so much material, because we have worked with people who are production people.
Yeah.
We've been talking about grants for a while, Bradley. We actually need to do this.
Yeah. Well,
there's
what do we
one,
have?
There's
we
one
have queerness,
for
we have disability. We have
we have everything, man. We have everything.
Well, SOCAN just extended their deadline, so you guys can get it done next week, I believe.
Okay. So
we do need money to record our new album.
SOCAN. Okay. Let's do that this week, Bradley. Okay.
Okay, Dad.
All right. son.
Oh, speaking of, so let's roll a clip here, and we're gonna talk about it. What the meaning of this is. All right. So
Oh dear.
If you're broken, stoked about it, got no money, go without it. There's one simple thing to do. You let an old man pay for you. If you're broken, stoked about it, got no money, go without it. There's one simple thing to do. Let an old man pay for you. Sugar daddy, give me like a lady. Sugar daddy, oh I can be a baby.
I get it. Sugar daddy.
That was such a good clip. You have such good footage of us.
So where did the idea of that song come from? I love it. It's a
Patrick and I
great
became
song.
really good friends through a cafe I used to work at. Patrick would come in almost every day. I would make him some coffee or some lunch, and we became, just through the barista dynamic. And that's kind of where our friendship blossomed into. We need to be making art together because we the shit we say when we're alone is hilarious. But there was, I don't know anyone else worked in the service industry here, but there's also the downside to that barista relationship where people know that you're trapped behind the counter, and it can get testy and dangerous. Like, people will abuse their time with the person trapped behind the counter, and they'll tip well to sort of, say, listen to me and pay attention to me while I'm here getting my coffee. And I had a really big problem with someone at that cafe where this all started, where I started having older men that would come every day, and then start stalking me in aspects of my life. Like, one of them found my address and would leave letters, love letters and books in my mailbox. And someone found my email address through my photography and would pour his heart out about how he wanted to leave his wife for me, even though he was in his 70s, through emails. And then Patrick gave me this outlet through working at that cafe. And I just thought, how funny would it be to make the first song that I ever write, with Patrick's help and Glenn's help, this song about, why don't I just steal the money from them?
That's awesome.
And so we wrote this step-by-step guide in this really cheeky pop style song that is not like the rest of our album, but it turns out it was kind of people's favorite just because it's funny. It's hilarious.
I love that it has so much more meaning behind it. That's what such a better robust story. You know what I mean? I like it because
which is kind of nice, because most of my lyrics are pretty, I don't know how much meaning they have. So
they're cryptic. They're beautiful, twisted prose about
I love it.
a weirdos, but that one is like loud, in your face, clear, something you could chant. It is truly like the pop song of all the songs we've ever written.
Well, your group, your fan base knew a lot of your songs, which helps a lot,
I'm gonna cry. It's so special thinking about that.
That's fun. That's fun. And Glenn,
Glenn, we do something special, Glenn.
We will again.
Soon.
One day.
Soon. Well, we're gonna hit the studio. We keep, every time we're about to go to the studio, there's lockdown. So we're ready to go. Like, we need one day pretty much to break it out. Then we send it to our producer in Alberta, and we'll be done in 2 months. Like, it's ready to go. Yeah. So close.
And we have this funny idea kicking around where if we finally get to be on a stage again, I think it would be hilarious to make it vacation themed, because no one has had a vacation in 2 years.
That's so funny.
And, like short. I bought these bikini wraps, like the kind that are airbrushed from a carnival, that is like a bikini painted on top of a bikini wrap. And like, we have blow up toys, and we could have water guns, and we could have Glenn, because he's, sometimes it's hard on Glenn's body to be up on stage for an hour. So I thought it would be hilarious if he had like a pool floaty he could lay on.
Free syringes for everybody too. Free vaccines for everybody. Hand out little vaccines.
Yeah, I'm so desperate to get back on.
We could do something with saline. That would be kind of fun.
That would be actually funny. That little shots.
Yeah.
Little shooters.
Just like needleless things, and just give people fucking vaccines out.
Or you know how they just have those one shooters, the
Yeah.
syringe, right? Just get a bunch of those and sell them.
Oh my
Fucking, you
God.
could sell the shooters and have shooter girls who are shooter guys or whatever,
We'll put
and
Art School stickers on the side,
a
man.
bunch of shooter peeps, and fucking
Yeah.
Yeah,
some
we're gonna do
extra.
something big when we can finally pay. It's gonna be awesome.
I love it, man. And you know what? This is kind of what I like about the live streaming too. And somebody, like a bartender that I was at the Painted Lady, she was saying, she's like, I'm excited about this because it's something I can like tune into and be like, I go there, that's like, I want that to, we'll have something like that where the places are the place to be again. You know what I mean? It's like, so for example, like if we're broadcasting live from the Garnet on a Friday night and people are like, oh shit, fuck, live music is there. Oh yeah, I forgot. I should get there. I need to get there. And I want it to be, and I think some musicians have got it in their head that this is going to destroy the music industry, is going to destroy the live scene. No, it's going to help it survive. I think it's going to make the venue scene cool again to come to, and hopefully they get refurbished. Like if you look at, the timing sucks ass, but if you look at El Macombo, they put a lot of work into like keeping the old coolness of it and the nostalgic part of it, but revamped it, put some money into it, and they're fully integrated live stream. Like they have a full high end control room with like everything you need, professional cameras. And eventually when things get going again, they are going to be way ahead of the curve, So, and it'll be the fucking cool place to go. Like they'll have broadcasts there eventually. We're going to be like, hey, we're at live El Macombo, 9:00. We got these 3 bands tonight. And that's the way it's going to be. Eventually it'll be something where people are all around the world and like, oh fuck, I've been to Toronto once. I'll tune in. So I think this is like just the beginning, and what's more exciting, and it's more control for artists like us, you know what I mean? It's more control of us getting together and having more of a unison where the venues are like just listening to us, kind of, you know what I mean, dictate things instead of the venues telling us like, this, you need this and you just to do this. But I think it's like more of a cohesive, backing with artists that we're going to bring this technology to the venues and like all of our packaged stuff to broadcast live. And I think
so
there's more
exciting
direct pay. There's more opportunities for direct pay to the artists and direct, compensation for what we deserve. You know what I mean? Because we are bringing the entertainment. The reason why people are coming to your venues, they're not coming to just sit and fucking have a beer for no reason, to just sit and drink. They're sitting there to drink with the music. The music is everything that they're there for. They're just there to have a beer and enjoy it as well. And I think of a lot of people that's like not their only outlet, but it's a nice outlet for them to get out and just forget about things. You know what I mean?
I'm very excited. I'm excited because you are a musician who's been on the grind for so many years, but you also have this background that is going to allow you to take this advocacy that you have, this almost activism for artists getting what they deserve and being treated properly, and then using what you have as a technical knowledge. I'm really excited to see all the things that you start to do with it. I want to work with you, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, well, let's do it. And I'm very excited with people who want to do this, you know what I mean? And I thought in my mind, well, I'm done with broadcasting. I'm fucked, right? But I'm thinking, no, I'm changing. It's the pivot. It's the huge pivot that was coming for a long time, that I saw coming for a while, and I kind of wanted to get out of anyways. So this is the push that I've needed and wanted all along. So I'm not like throwing away everything I have. Like I'm taking all my 15 years of broadcast experience and now I'm going to integrate it into this medium for us, you know, for local musicians and independent artists. And I think it's just the tip of the iceberg for things like this to expand. And a quote unquote of like the music industry of like taking an artist and them being in debt, I think is almost coming to an end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where the new music industry is going to be this, you know what I mean? Like this is going to hold itself up with musicians holding each other up, and more and more artists making money by themselves independently without middlemen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we've really, I mean, I take a lot of pride in how hard Patrick works and how hard Glenn works on his artistry with his guitars, and the fact that we do it all, you know, out of pocket and still make a profit at the end of the day. It's something I take a
It's
lot of pride
impressive.
in.
It's impressive.
But it's not easy, and if
No.
we could find better ways and avenues to start, you know, trickling into new directions, I think what you have in mind is pretty special and could change the world, or at least for small, you know, Canadian musicians for now.
For sure. Very exciting.
Yeah, we have so much talent. Like we spoke so much about this. I think maybe with you, Patrick, the other night, and maybe I was speaking this with other artists. It's just so hard for Canadian artists to get out of Canada, doing it, making it. Whether you're a musician, you're an actor, you're a director, or whatever, it just doesn't happen. So it's like we have to go to Europe, we have to go to the States, we have to do and build up. There's just not that like foundation that helps us nurture and grow, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So hopefully stuff like this can help, you know, and change, you know.
Definitely. It's very exciting.
Yeah, but thanks, I appreciate you guys coming on.
Yeah,
and
thanks so much for
this
having
has
us.
been so much fun, and you know, see, like an hour doesn't really seem like an hour.
No.
Just goes by.
Wait, it's been an
Like,
hour already?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
been an hour. It's been 70 minutes, an hour and 10 minutes. It's just
Wow.
been
Yeah.
like, yeah.
It's almost like we miss talking about what we love doing.
Right?
That's what's so
Excited.
easy about this. It's just kind of like shooting the shit and kind of just like, that's honestly what I miss the most about touring. People gripe and groan about a lot of things about showing up early, and like, I love that. I love the
that
like,
too.
I love that like in between time where it's like you get there early and you set up and you're just hanging out and talking out, and then the after the show stuff in between sets, having smokes, and that's the best part to me, is all
I
that.
agree.
that
I'm always the first at a show. Actually, always.
Yeah.
I'm always
Yeah,
like to be there,
Patrick's like the slave driver. He's makes sure that we're there like a couple hours early. Our sound check's out of the way.
Well, it's there for
relax.
a reason. It's
Yeah.
there for when everything goes to shit. Like it's there for it's not there just to like to be there on time. And that derives from my production background too. It's there for when things fuck up. Like I had a artist in Toronto here, I won't say her name, but she wanted to show up at 9:00 and she plays at 9:30. I'm like, okay, all right, suit yourself. And then she comes and she's like, I don't have a drummer. And I'm like, well, sorry about your luck, because you're fucked.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you came at 6, like I told you,
Yeah.
then you could have worked it out. We could have done something. Long when Quaid's is down the street, we could have worked it out. It's the time is for when you fuck up. But when things go right, like 9 out of 10 times for setups, you have that nice time to just like get to know somebody, to like have a beer, to like.
Yeah, I agree, man.
Calm
It's all
before
part
the
of it.
storm.
All part of it.
I mean,
It's all
and then then we're here now because we made incredible connections at our shows, you know.
Yeah,
2 packed out, sold out shows.
that was
because we were
awesome.
prepared and ready to have fun.
Exactly.
Well,
It's not
I'm
easy, but
down
it's
for you
fun.
guys to communicate with me after this, and I'm really open to ideas, and I'm just throwing my ideas out there, and I would like to hear other ideas, and I really, really want to emphasize more on this, like staying connected, because it's very important for us to survive, like as musicians in Canada, as venues in Canada, and all this stuff. It's we're not going to make it unless we all fucking help each other. And there's it's amazing how many things that we all have, you know what I mean, that we could use. And like you were saying, Bradley, it's so important to have good camera operators to integrate with your stuff. So it's like all these artistic forms can really help each other in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Artists, you know, visual artists, we can all help each other to help build up this music community where people can make money off it, right? So
yeah, it is great. Patrick, I know that we're streaming. Death by Art School is on all streaming sites, including TikTok. You can use our songs on TikTok now, which is pretty cool.
Please, someone do a dance or something.
I really want like the song "Sugar Daddy" to somehow get its own like.
I'm
weird...
surprised it hasn't yet. Why hasn't someone typed in "Sugar Daddy" and seen our song on? Right? Like seriously.
Well, I'm gonna sign up for TikTok soon, and I'll do my own Sugar Daddy song.
Sugar Daddy, treat me like a lady.
Please, we need to get that out there because we're all.
I'll just do like a big Scarface pile of sugar.
Yeah,
amazing. Do it.
Oh my gosh! But where can other people find us online, Patrick? Where is our stuff?
So you guys got Linktree here, right?
We have Linktree there, so that's some live shows, Instagram, which you linked before. What else is there? YouTube, of course. I mean, we're all over YouTube.
Oh yeah,
on Spotify, Apple Music, every streaming service. That's so yeah, we're out there.
If you thought any of the things that we said were cute or funny or intriguing, Patrick has categorically put almost everything he's ever done with this project on the internet somewhere. So if you Google or YouTube Death by Art School, you are going to find some really weird crap. And it is going to be exciting. From everything from taking a 13-minute smoke break in the middle of a set to cutting a giant paper mache ball sack open with a giant paper mache scalpel. So
everything.
It's all online.
It's very Flaming Lips of you guys. I really like that.
I like that. Nice
I love that band. It's very visually enticing. I love it.
That's what I did for my last birthday before lockdown. Was I got to see them live in Toronto.
Oh, nice.
Oh, really?
They was so good.
Lucky you.
He like almost ran over the whole audience with this like 20-foot tall like motorized unicorn. It was so much fun.
Amazing.
I got to work the Tool show in November. Nice. That was one of the last shows I got to see. And the visuals for that was crazy.
Everyone from my restaurant except for me was at that show. We closed down for the night so everyone could go.
Nice. It's worth it. Yeah. Some bands are just like, you got to see it. It's yeah. But I hope to, for us to do something in the future. And I don't think it's going to be that hard. I think we can just, put our imagination together and we'll figure something out. And with the good weather soon, I hope we're being able to do something. But stay in touch, guys. And I'm so glad that you joined me.
Yes, thank you again.
Thanks for the first 4-way. It was I feel
it was
good.
Hot. It was hot.
Yeah, I need a smoke.
Yeah, I need to step outside.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
thank you guys.
I'll drink to that. Thanks
care.
so much.
All right. Cheers, guys.
See ya.
That was the boys from Death by Art School. They're a band from Peterborough, and you can check them out on Linktree here, Death by Art School, and Instagram. There, I like to thank Patrick, Bradley, and sorry, I forget your name. But it was a great show, and thanks for joining me. And so one day, eventually, we'll be on tour again when I hit Peterborough. And yeah, look out for those guys. So speaking of touring, one of my first stops when I first started touring a couple years ago was Edmonton. And it's a couple of my buddies from the band Holiday Monday. They did they came to Toronto and I met them there. They're from Ottawa, or so from Edmonton. And then I went over and did a couple shows. And then the following April, I did a show with this band, Sound Bodacious. And these guys are standing by. And we're going to have a chat with them. So we're going to bring in Levi and Patrick. Let's get this going.
Hello.
Hey guys.
Howdy.
Excellent. How you doing?
Ooh, I like your shirt, Caleb.
Tricky.
I like your shirt,
Hey,
Levi.
it worked. How's it going, guys? We got Caleb and Levi
great.
from
Great.
Sound Bodacious.
Yeah, awesome to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no problem. And you guys have one more band member too, right?
Yes. Kelly, the guitarist and also vocalist. He's feeling a bit under the weather. I got COVID tested and hoping for good news. Did the responsible thing and when got tested, taking it easy. So he can't talk so good right now.
Get better, Kelly.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we met 3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago. We did a show at the Sewing Machine Factory in Edmonton, and it was a fun show. I had a great time with you guys. It was a great mix, the three of us, three acts, and yeah, that was good times. Good times.
Like
and,
he was one. Oh yeah. Excellent. The classic Zoom moment. I just wanted to say that it was one of those nights that had a really good energy, to reiterate what you said, and just where you can tell everybody's grooving into the music, and it just adds a whole new layer of enjoyment when everybody else is also being involved. So it was a really fun time. Thank you.
And I don't know if I think you guys know this, yeah, because I asked you. But I think we used your drums, right? Like Paul used your guys' drums that night.
That sounds familiar.
Because I fucked up on a massive level. So I was helping load the truck, right? And sometimes, I don't know if you guys heard the expression of like, nobody likes a keener, right? So I was a little too keen to get going to the venue. And I'm like, hurry up, I'll just help you. So I helped load the drums in the back of the pickup, and it had like the hard cover over it.
Yeah.
So I closed the fucking the hatch, and then the keys wouldn't come out of the like,
Nice.
shit. And I was like, oops. And then I went and told Derek, I think it was. It's Paul's brother, the bass player. And I was like, I think I fucking fucked up. And he's like, no, you didn't put the key in the back hatch, did you? And I was like, yeah. He's like, fuck. It's like, it's fucking broken. And so we went to like fucking change it, and it's like it wouldn't come out, and it's like too much force would like break it off, and it's like the key to drive with too, and it's like locked in. I locked everything in, everything, like all the gears there, and the guys just come out and they're like, fuck. It's like, so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm like, I fucked up so large. And they're like, fuck it, gig's over, we're done, fuck this shit, it's over. And I'm like, well, I'm doing my set, so I fucked up. I completely fucked you guys up, but I'm still doing my part. I'm sorry, but it's like, and then I was like, well, there's a place to rent. Let's go there. I'll pay for it. There's got to be a drum set at the venue. It might suck ass, or you guys have a drum set because you're a 3-piece band as well. So I think you guys got back to us on time. I had the drums, saved the day, and it ended up being a great gig, anyways. And Paul and I talk about that story all the time. But it was just like that's the memories I have the best of, you know, touring and doing all these tours and meeting people. It's like it's those moments that you really remember.
Absolutely.
But it was all forgotten after. Yeah, well, and the lesson I learned, which I think I knew before, is just leave the drummer alone. Don't fucking load his shit up. don't strike it. Don't help him. Just leave the man alone, or lady. Just leave them alone. Let them do their thing. They chose this. It's like the goalie, you know. You don't just leave them alone.
Exactly.
But how you guys? So Levi, you're a newer member since then.
Yeah.
Tell me and the viewers about your guys. How long you guys been playing, and how long you've been playing together, and how long has Sound Bodacious kind of been around?
Well, it's funny because the band I think has actually been around for like way longer than I've been around. Before I even met these guys, I met them in like I think it was New Year's of 2015, right? I think that's when we met, and it was all really active. Yeah, I think so. And it's through music. We had a mutual buddy who introduced us because we liked the same music, like King Crimson or whatever, and you know Jimi Hendrix and Zappa, and we immediately hit it off just like that. So I was just kind of a big fan of the band for like years. I don't think I was at that show that you guys were talking about. This maybe I was. I don't know. It was a while ago.
Maybe, yeah.
But
it was about 3 years ago. This time it was April, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's possible.
I think that was right at the transition, or like right, because we had 2 members leave, and then Levi joined. I think it would have been like that November, even.
Yeah.
Like right, and then and then we had a great year, and then the pandemic. But yes,
we had a good year.
I'm really happy to have in the band. So.
Yeah, it changed a bit when I joined, so that was cool.
Yeah.
So you guys are like, you know, psychedelic, kind of like laid back, and you know, it reminded me of my stuff a bit because it's like my hip hop is kind of more. You just sit back, close your eyes, and kind of just zone out, right? And it was a great. That was a really cool venue. We got to play at, and the next day I got to play at the Carrot Factory or the Carrot Cafe.
Yeah. Or was it the cafe?
Carrot Cafe.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
I remember that one. Like,
what do you guys? How long you guys playing in Edmonton, and like what did you guys? Do you guys have a good momentum going before everything shut down? Were you guys doing shows? And me too. Yeah.
We had like Levi joined the band, and it was like
it was like a big shift, like
a big shift, right? Like, and I'm really happy.
Huge energy boost.
Huge energy shift. That's a good way to put it. And then
like I had a lot of fire under my ass that I had to get out when I basically joined the
band.
It's good fuel. Good fuel.
You bet.
Exactly. And then so that year we took. Honestly, like Levi has brought a lot of like energy and enthusiasm and like technical proficiency, and you're great, Levi. I know I don't see you very often. We haven't played together in a while.
Yeah,
but you're great. And we were doing quite well. We had this audacious sort of idea of playing like a show per month or something, because small act, it's nice to play around. In that we had we played in some smaller festivals. We played at Astral Harvest that year, which was this medium to large size festival, and then we had our first tour in BC, which was a lot of fun. And then we came back and we were like, let's relax a little bit, play a couple shows, and then it was like, hey, everything shut down.
Take some time to work on some new material and
just scales all day. Right?
Still working on new material.
Well, that kind of leads me to my next question: is like this whole lockdown. Have you every musician I've talked to, they felt something, even though it all sucks, but something positive has come out of this lockdown. Like people have, gotten their health better. They've, slowed down a bit, caught up on some stuff. It's like myself, I had, 10 years of running around, and like now I have some time to like collect my footage and like and start working on some more, social media stuff and stuff like this, like live streaming. So what, like you guys said, you recorded an album through the pandemic, or was it already kind of done?
I think the really great thing about sometimes like being in a band with Levi and Kelly, right, is that we're capable of sometimes writing a part and producing good material for everyone. But really when we get together is when we record the most material, because you could be playing a song, hey, I have a good riff, right? And then Levi hits that, something changes the time, and then all of a sudden you're somewhere else, right? And then 3 iterations after that, you found like the riff that's the chorus for the song, So we have been able, like the other day, Kelly sent us a really great song, like just the guitar backing, and we're working on lyrics for that, kind of like online, right? So there are certain things that we've been able to really excel at. Like I think we have like a lot of new songs. When we play again, it's going to be just all new,
totally different set.
And I'm excited for when we get together to jam, to find out what the songs that we have now independently, exactly like how they differ, once we've experienced it as a group and a team and a band, like it should be.
Yeah. As we're pretty improv heavy, so, at least for me, like just your day-to-day lives, all that stuff comes into it, because you try to be so in the moment that just everything bleeds into what's happening in that moment. So like over this time, it's going to be a different vibe. So I'm just interested to see where it leads,
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Now, do you guys all live in close by, or is it?
Yeah, relatively. We live
actually, we just all live in the same neighborhood.
That was nice, and it's convenient with, hey, get over here, like, I got a riff I want to meet me in the words.
Yeah. So you guys are where in Alberta again? Sorry, I never really.
Edmonton, so-called Edmonton, Treaty 6.
Oh, okay. So you guys, okay.
Yeah,
so,
we're all in Edmonton.
You branched out from Edmonton, and you said you toured in BC. Like, where did you guys go in BC when you toured?
The island.
Oh, yeah.
It was the
Nanaimo and Victoria, and
totally.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Great.
Yeah.
It
was beautiful. The people like
really
really
do
kind.
Yeah.
Great to play a show and to do a bit of like sightseeing as well. It's amazing. Never done that before. It's the first time I've ever really done that, so it was just that first time doing that was like, wow.
Yeah.
And so we're going to. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. No.
Or just Levi recalls this quite well. We were going to Nanaimo, and we had woken up in the morning in Salmon Arm, and everybody was kind of sleepy, and I was awake. I'll drive us, right? And we drove, got to Hope really, really early, and we're like, we're super early. We're gonna get to the ferry, and we got to play the show in Nanaimo. And so we're just making great time. And we get to the ferry, and it turns out that the ferry, like the ferry motor had like broken.
Oh yeah,
and we were
that
like,
was so
God, right? And then we were like,
oh my God.
And I kind of like walked over, and I was all like, hey, like, what's the situation? We're like, a band who's like, people are coming to see, like,
they don't give up. They don't give
but
a fuck.
yeah, they so it was like a 5-hour delay or something. I don't know. It was like significant.
Yeah,
And
there
then
for so long.
we had to, like, originally it was going to take the ferry to Nanaimo, and then we're playing in Nanaimo, but we had to take the ferry to Victoria and then drive to Nanaimo. So we got to Victoria like 10 o'clock or something, and we were like, we're getting there, like, and I did not speed. Like, I followed the whatever, but it was like right on the thing, maybe, right? And
So
and we got there, we rolled up.
made the gig.
Yeah, we did.
You great guys. And we made the gig. And it was like right at this time. It was like, all right, we're all pent up. Let's play.
Never gave up. That's awesome. You never gave up. I love that. I love that. Don't give up on the day. Yeah, don't give up on the day. That's
I was almost
good.
convinced it wasn't going to happen, but then it showed up and it was great. And the guy had a xylophone for me to play on with the drum kit. It was perfect.
Always make the show. Always make the show, no matter what. Try and good for you guys. That's great. Yeah, man.
Feeling.
I've been there's a few ones that I've cut close. It's pretty.
Yeah, that one was pretty tight.
But that's when you have all that
other session. You were talking about the beauty of like the sound check, and I caught the end of that, and it's completely
That's
like
what
the
it's
sound
there
check is
for.
for the 1 out of 10 time where something just completely happens.
Goes to shit completely. Like that's what it's there for. Yeah. Or like when you lock a drummer's drums in the truck.
Quick, everybody gets the button.
Those little side steps, those little bumps in the road to say. But that's what Paul and I mentioned that before, and especially you guys know, being fucking musicians in Canada, it's hard as fuck, man.
Yep.
And expect every gig something to fuck up, like everything. There's there's going to be something that's going to be unexpected that you can't control, and things that are going to fuck it up. But the beauty of it is, it's like, especially with a tour, you can just do it again. Like, just do it again, and just do the best you can with it to make the best show possible, and that's a true test of character, and like makes you a better musician and a better artist, of like just doing the show no matter what. Like, I did one in Buffalo, and it's this old house that they've turned into a venue, and it's just like, you're on your own. It's like, there's the corner with all the speakers and everything, and there's no sound guy at all whatsoever. So it's like you're doing your own sound check, doing the mic and everything, and I'm walking back and walking around with it. And they didn't have the one cable I needed, and I brought my cables that I needed, and it just sound like dog shit, just complete dog shit. But it's like, I'm here. I fucking lied to get across the border. I got here. I'm not gonna fucking not do it. It's like, I fucking pushed through it, and it's like, it was cringing, but I did 2 hours of it non-fucking stop, and they gave me money, man. Like, I never felt so
Sick.
like, that's the difference between shows in the States and shows here, is like, they really appreciate musicians in the States. It's like, they gave me money no matter what, where it's like, in Canada, you're expected to bring the door and you get the door.
Exactly.
They just gave me money because they're selling beers, they're just like, here's money. And they felt bad. They're like, sorry, we didn't have a sound guy here. Yeah, here's some extra money. The beers are on us. I had American beer. It's all right, kids. Don't worry. I drove fine. It's like water. But anyways, they understand how hard it is for you to get there, to fucking set up your own shit, to if you're staying over, paying all your own expenses and all this stuff. And what are you gonna walk away with most nights? If you're lucky, more than $50, or like, if that, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's nice to get that once in a while when you're going out to venues and owners recognizing stuff like that. So what I want to know from you guys, and this is from my impression from touring, I know that it might be the old way, but when you're out east, people who tour, they feed you at the venues. Like when I went and did shows in the East Coast, they gave me either 50% off the food or they gave it to me for free. And I've heard that like some venues in the West, because everything's so far apart, that they put you up in places for nights. Have you guys experienced that touring West, or is that just like something from the old school? And
not in our particular experience. I know that there are some festivals, sure, Split Island does this, but I think that they will, like, you know, obviously help navigate our bit of a bigger sort of event. That sounds amazing. Levi, we got to go to the East Coast. I mean, I've been comped many a beer, right, by people at venues, right? Like the compassion is there, most certainly, 100%. And we've also only had the one tour and then a couple out of town festivals, right, that were still pretty close by and had like camping and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So we've never had to ask, I guess. But when we went to BC, we stayed in hotels. The one actually, the second venue in Victoria was attached to a hotel, and it was
I
bet. Yeah.
Over there. What day?
Yeah. Those are the stories the stories are etched in those gigs, right?
Oh yeah. And then we wandered downtown.
Yeah. Nice. Obviously, you know, we miss a lot of things about doing that. What do you guys miss the most? I was saying to Patrick and the other guys, it's like I don't know. I'm like I like it, the in between stuff. You know, I like showing up early and meeting other artists and talking and just chatting and having that relief of like everything's ready to go and we got a lot of time to spare. You know, I just like the road. I really, really enjoy the road. It's hard. It's really hard, and I've had moments where I wanted to quit and fucking break down and fucking throw it in the towel. But it's like a character builder. It's a lot of character building, and it's also like you find out a lot about yourself, you know, as an artist. Totally. But I miss that. I kind of miss that in between stuff. Like, what do you guys miss the most about doing that? And
Levi, you want to go first?
I got this one for a second.
Okay. Well, I'll make a cheesy one. I miss playing with my friends. Him and the other guy.
Well, I mean, yeah.
And I miss, but I think
that's the main one.
That's the main. But I think tangibles, like you said, right, where you show up to a venue. I remember showing up to a venue, and I love this guy, Dylan David Hart. And it's the first time, no, I never met him.
Oh,
right?
yes.
And he showed up, like, and he was this whole debacle where he was new to town and he got lost, and he like came to the venue, and it was just like, I think that was the show that the guy was supposed to play. No, it was a different show. There's a time that was supposed to play up there in Hawaii, but that's a different time. But like with Dylan, and he came to the venue, and he was like 5 minutes before the show, and he was so like, oh my god, I missed out, and we're just like, hey man, it's okay, right? Like we're really glad
you got here. You made it. You made it.
Yeah, because people are still.
You're here. You're here. Yeah.
Right, you're here.
And he killed it.
You know, and he killed it. Yeah, like and he rocked, and that show was actually really good. And it's just that feeling of, like you said, like where you won't go into it. You know you're gonna play a show, right? You know the music is gonna be the music, and you're gonna love that. Right, but it's the things and the people that you experience along the way that I think I miss the most.
That's exactly it. Yeah. Perfect.
And I like what Levi said before, like when you guys were late to a gig one time, and it's like you have that energy of angst to get there, and then you just bring it on stage with you, and you have that. You know, I'm sure the next day is going to be a little, groggy, but it's you're using that, angst, and you're bringing it on stage. And,
there's always this energy that's kind of like needs to be released.
I think that's important too. And it's important I think for musicians and young artists to not get discouraged. You know what I mean? There's so much that's leading up to your performance on that time that could really change your mindset of when you're playing and what you're projecting out to your audience, you know? So it's like, take, like, if things are fucking up, take that and use that and bring that out in your act, in your show. And I've had a few moments like that. I've had a moment at the Horseshoe. Everything went to shit and I was late, and it's not, 100% my fault, but I got there and the guy blew me off my sound check, and there was this whole argument with the person I was there with, and there was a whole blow up, and so that blew up, and I sat there and I stewed for like a nice hour, and I was just like, fuck this, I'm not getting mad. I'm going to bring it to the stage. And so I just brought it all to the stage, and I just came out with so much like fire. And that's, I'm lucky to have that outlet and that channel to do that. Right. And, touring was nice to really do that and kind of get in a rhythm of like, I did the show last night and now I'm doing it again. And it's just like, to present it to new audiences is always fun. And I love this integration. And I don't know what you guys think about this too, but I've always been told like so many, like, this is the way it's got to be. And this is all like old thinking of shows and live shows where it's like, it's got to be just rock, just rap. And myself, I've gone through so much trial and error of like booking shows and stuff like that. And I've always got this cognitive response from people when they hear the word rap, and they're like, oh, you rap, there's 2 rap venues down there, you can go there, and that's where they do the rap shows, at the fucking serve bottle service places. And it's like, I don't do that, man. That's not my crowd. My crowd is like people sipping coffee and fucking like laid back and chilled back. So it's like, I want to bring that to the places that are already integrated. And I just got discouraged with promoters that are like, we just have to have rock music. And it's like, no, I want people that I like and people I enjoy their music. And I want it like an eclectic mix of artists, and the more times I've put things like that on, you're just so much more open to flexibility, to different audiences and different crowds integrating, and better relationships across the genres, and I think it's not up to promoters to decide anymore what like the standard should be. I think it's slowly evolving as we're taking control, and it's exciting things like this and reaching out with other artists to get a platform together. And but my whole spiel, how do you guys see like the future of live streaming or integrated with venues and stuff like that?
Well, I think certainly like having the opportunity to say,
grab some water here. I'm listening.
We're gonna put this show on a live stream while it's happening, right? Like, and it takes out that that element of perhaps accessibility issues for some people. Maybe some people don't want to come to a bar, right? Like, because bars depends on the venue, right? Hopefully it's a safe, inclusive venue, right? But also if people are maybe just they had a really long day or something and they still want to participate in the show, but maybe
or they have kids.
Like, oh, I can do exactly, right? Like, I want to be there, but I'm so tired. Or
don't be loud and craziness,
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I think that having the combination for people, the offer, like whether it's free or by a smaller portion than the door ticket, like and if it's free, then I think that's because people will see that, hey, like that seems like a fun time. Maybe I saw 3 shows on the live stream, and then I went out that time because I went out with some friends or something, and they felt comfortable. So I only see it as a positive, and I know we're living in a little technological vacuum of Sound Bodacious. The sound cave that we record in is a cave after all. but
That's amazing.
So we were trying to get, we've been talking about like, oh, what if I can get something to record into, and then like, do some editing or something, right? Or something fun like that. But also being a very loud, 3-piece psych band that is based on jamming. You're playing online with someone and it's like, oh, it glitched. Okay, now we're in 5.5. We're like, okay. So I love the integration, and I think it'll be positive for the industry.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think, Levi?
I mean, it's definitely it's a challenge, but what can you do? You got to embrace it, and so you work with it and adapt to it, and that's basically what we've been doing. With our improvisational style and kind of mixing it with this online thing is unique, to say the least. But I think it's working, so we'll see what happens with it. Pretty much.
Yeah, well, I think the online streaming stuff is going so fast now, and it's like, especially the last year, you're seeing so many platforms being presented. Now there's I'll send you guys the link. I think is Jasm or something, but Jasm or something is a one that allows bandmates to link up on Instagram, so you can do it real time and plug in your instruments. These shows I've done with this program is called Restream, and if you guys like had a mixer and you guys all did it in one room, I can get that audio from you guys. So it's here. It's like it's becoming more accessible and quicker, and that lag stuff is getting fixed quicker and quicker. And then I think it's just it's just integrating things together, like the technology with the older venues, and then us with our own platforms bringing that to the venues, you know what I mean? And then, like I said, there's so much more like potential for small businesses to be involved too, where you have businesses that are in the community that need the music venue and the artists, and everybody needs each other. So there's opportunities here. There's lots of opportunities and people in different sectors, artists, visual artists, musicians, videographers. There's so much potential. I think it's just bringing these entities together to help independent music artists on a whole together. You know what I'm saying?
I completely. Yeah.
Like, for example, the integration of art with your music. When you release your music to, say, Spotify, you release it with a piece of art now, and that's so important now to part. Like, I had an artist from Toronto do something for me, and this is an example I'll show you. Like something like this, right? And that's just like a still from my video, and she so that's like attached to my single, and that goes out everywhere and is kind of used to sell my music, right? And it helps sells her art. And so there's a huge opportunity with lots of stuff like that, I think, where like I said before, the venues that are coffee shops can integrate. We got an art show today. We got a fashion show today. Sure. Tomorrow we got a live band. There's so much potential with like individual entrepreneurs. You know what I mean? So it's like people who sell clothes and all this shit. There's all this like good potential of integration to really revamp the live music experience.
Yeah.
Where you can have all your merch on Pinterest or something, or whatever the sites are, and you can do a live show from the venue, and it's like, oh, we got all our merch on online too. You know what I mean? You can
Yeah,
buy it
that's it.
online, and I like what you said, Caleb. It's like people will pay when they're been given something quality. You know what I mean? You're giving them, and that's where I agree with kind of the live stream is like, just give it free at first. You know what I mean?
I
Like, you're
agree.
giving it for free, and people are seeing it, and they're like, wow, these people are really putting in all their talent to give me something entertaining. They're entertaining me with their own money and their own hard work. Maybe I'll give something eventually. And that's what does happen. You know what I mean? You put out quality material, and the viewers respected and understanding the value of it too, right? So I think you're going to see a lot of that more, I believe, um, hopefully, and platforms like this will bring more power to the individual artists that can get the money directly to us, that we deserve.
I completely agree. And
Yeah.
sometimes, like, an artist will get successful, or they'll try to get successful, and then they're like, okay, time to get the fuck out of Edmonton, right? And then, like, sometimes, like, the way that's set up, like, really does hurt local scenes, where you're just kind of like, okay, someone has made moderate commercial success, they move to Vancouver or something, good for them.
Yeah.
100. But then, like, what about that person who was making artwork, right, or was making a clothing company in town? And I think the more you do where you're at, right, you can enact a lot of big changes, like you're talking about, like suddenly having just like a community, and people are going to be, they already are, and they're going to be really excited to get back to enjoying art spaces again and seeing their friends in that type of atmosphere. So I completely agree with you. I think it's a really exciting time to hit it. Like I think you referenced in the other with Death by Art School, that people say the music industry died, and I think it's been really hard for a lot of people, right? But to be cheesy, like a phoenix shots, right?
Oh,
like,
fuck yeah, for sure. Great analogy. Yeah.
Have a beer, go to a show, right? See your friend, and or not drink, obviously, of course, and just have a grand. So.
Yeah, a whole renewed sense of like purpose with all of it,
I you just nailed it, and also for, I think, another sense of appreciation for what the value of it is too, because to me, like, art is an important integral part of society, and like a civilized society. Like, you need
Yes.
you need an outlet, and I was explaining.
Ourselves.
Well, I was explaining this with Nelson, and I had a great conversation. And Nelson does a lot of jujitsu, and me, I've had trouble with anger and rage sometimes, and rap has really helped me even that out, and I had an album called the Bad Meat LP, and is some really dark tendencies in it, and it's like, it's so important for it was very important for me to put that darker side onto a piece of art. You know what I mean? It's so important to do that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You need that outlet, and I think that's what music brings to society, and especially in this last year with lockdown, it's like people are really, really missing live music. And are you guys familiar with this venue called the Painted Lady in Toronto?
I heard you reference it, but I've never been to Toronto.
Anyway, so it's like a pretty cool, eccentric place where, like, they've already done stuff like this where they're going to survive later. They have a burlesque show one night, they got music one night, and this and that. Anyways, I was there with them, and I was helping them integrate this online streaming stuff. And I was just there, like, doing tech stuff. And it was the day Eddie Van Halen died. And so they had the speakers out on the street, and they fucking cranked Van Halen all day.
Sick.
So it just went, it bled all the way down the street. And I'm watching people walk by, and it's like, we're like broken people. Like, we've been inside for a long ass time. This is the first 4 or 5 months of the lockdown. And I just to see the reaction on people's faces to hear like fucking good music bleeding through the streets. They were just like, yeah. And they walk by and they're like, yeah, man, thanks, dude. And it's just like, it's such an important, you know, like you talk about essential workers, and I get it, you know, the frontline workers, that's an essential thing. But I do believe, you know, music is an essential part, an integral part of us not going fucking crazy. You know,
it's always
it's a two-way street too. It's like we need to make it, and people need to hear it. It's like important, that relationship. And I think now there's going to be a so much more stronger, I hope so, a stronger appreciation for the local artists, you know?
Yes.
And the local businesses and people spending their money that way. And I hope the technology is going to help us get that even playing field, you know? And
I'm excited.
There's lots of potential, you know, with venues and stuff like that. And yeah, live streaming. And
I love you, man.
But it's also like what you said, Caleb, it's a help bring people to the venue as well. I think it's not going to hurt the venue. It's going to help it by like, I got to go there. It's the place to be.
Oh yeah. Like when you see something that, or you catch a show that was recorded, like a lot of venues will be like, oh, you know, here's the show from last night. And you watch and you're like, what was I doing? Right. Like, you know, and hopefully if people live in a place where there's either public transit or maybe it's like close or whatever, right? You can make that split decision, you know, just, oh, it's 9:15, first band got on, right? 20 minutes, I'll be there, you know, like, just gotta get out of the house, right? Whereas if you see it the next day in the afternoon, you're like, okay, maybe next time, you know, I really got to do it next time, right? But you might forget because stuff happened in you know, in the world, yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to help people express themselves as they express themselves through hopefully our music, and they liked it and they have a good time. I know it sounds a strange thing to say, but like you said, it is a dual thing where we create it, we make it, we want to play it, and we'll do it for ourselves. But part of it for me, and I think you feel the same, Levi, getting to share that with other people, and
exactly.
Having the and saying, "Oh, that was a really great solo," and you're like, "Really? Oh my God, I don't."
Yeah, I'm glad.
Thank you so much.
You're not just idiots.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I hope to get out to the West Coast again, and if I do, it would be great to hook up with you guys again and do a little tour. And now I got a few peeps out west, you know, got our connections.
You bet.
And
sweet.
If you ever guys make it here, give me a holler, and
absolutely, it'd be great.
The long trip to Montreal together too, and
nice.
Yeah, I'd love to go there. That's a goal for sure. That's definitely a goal.
But yeah, anything particular you guys would like to plug? You said you got some new stuff coming out eventually. Any dates or anything? Or
you guys want to try to hear me play a song?
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck yeah, please.
And I guess
live on the intranet. Wish I had like a salt shaker or something.
Okay?
Yeah, man, definitely. For real.
It sounds good. So this song is called Implode on the unreleased album that will be very exciting post-pandemic, pandemic pending, and I'm sure it'll have a lot going on with Levi and Kelly. And I'm the bass player, and this is a guitar, so I can't play with Kelly again. Kelly taught me how to play guitar, so
the skeletal version.
He's very skeletal, yes. So this song is called Implode. just vibrations, humming along until I implode. As if in endless exaltation, thoughtful colors abound in all things you wrote. So shall we sing with one another? La 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 la. As though life would consist of only blissful repose. La 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 la. But if you're beyond frustration, come along until we implode. Should we be victorious, my lover? And one time still shall we roll. How glorious shall be our voices, laughing along until we implode. Ha 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 ha. I'm always Levi. Kelly was your guitar solo. I used the drums. We played for 27 minutes longer because fuck it.
I love these Renaissance photos you guys sent me. These are like, yeah, these are awesome, man.
I did those.
He was like, all the photos, and I was like, yeah.
Straight out of Lyon in 1704. This is amazing. This is awesome shit. I love it, man. That was a great song, man. Thank you so much. Is that is new?
Killed it.
Is that a new one?
My spanking new off the press. Just got together. Like, you guys knows it came from a jam we used to do, and then
that was like a riff from a different song.
Like a riff from a different song. Levi nails it. Like it was the middle part, and it was always really pretty. And then isolation happened, and it was kind of like, oh, so lonely, and I was singing it, and I just said, what if this is just its own song? Like, and they both really liked it, and I'm excited to play it with them again, with it as its own song, because I think it's gonna be really great.
Flesh it out and see what happens.
Thanks for debuting it here. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having it, man.
Hey, anytime, guys. Awesome. And I appreciate the last minute scramble for the show. Thanks for coming on, and
hey, no problem.
It was a blast, guys.
Yeah, no problem. Something different. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when's the album coming out again? Did you say you had a
pandemic pending?
Yeah, all right.
In the future,
we'll stand by for that. I'll be on.
To be announced.
Yes.
Well, Kelly, I hope you get better.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. And
you'll be good.
Seeing you guys playing soon. All right, guys, I appreciate it.
Thank you
Gonna
so
wrap
much.
this up here, and
Hey, cheers,
thank
man.
you so much for coming and being a part of this. And can watch the replay anytime. And check out Sound Bodacious. Check them out on Instagram here. Got Sound Bodacious and soundbodacious.ca. Check out all their stuff. And
We're on all Spotify things as well, but
new
thank you so
material
much for
coming
having
soon.
us.
So no problem, man. And I appreciate you guys, and all the best. And eventually we'll smoke a cannon in the West
yeah.
Coast.
We'll rock. We'll have a good one.
We'll put on the papers and we'll just roll.
Yeah.
Anything you guys like to say to finish off, or?
I'd like to just say thank you for doing this for artists, and thank you for
thanks,
showcasing
man, for
the
reaching
scenes
out.
across the Turtle Island, across the whole goddamn continent. So thank you so much for what you do.
No problem. And nice to meet you, Levi. And hopefully we'll do something in person.
You bet. Nice to meet you, man. Thanks.
Next time. All right, guys. Peace. Have a great night. And
cheers.
Have a good one. Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, man. So that was Caleb and Levi, 2/3 of Sound Bodacious. Awesome dudes, really laid back. Check them out, please. Instagram, Sound Bodacious, and you can check them out on their website, soundbodacious.ca. Really chill, laid back guys. I'd like to thank my buddies in Death by Art School. Awesome, fun. Those guys. And Sound Bodacious, thank you guys so much. It was a fantastic night. Check these guys out. You can check them out at Linktree, Death by Art School, and then you can hit them up on Instagram, Death by Art School. Amazing guys. And I want to say something about Patrick. Patrick, we were talking about, the little things that matter. I did a show with these guys, and it was the first show of my tour, and we pretty much split even on the money. It was like $80 each, and there was like 85. And Patrick said, "You keep the extra $5." And he's like, "Because you're the road performer, and the road performer should get more money." And I thought that was really nice of him, and real stand up move, and stuff like that goes a long way. And musicians, we got to take care of each other and help each other grow, and we can make this thing work. So thanks to my guests again for being a part of this tonight. It was a great show. Focus episode 22. And next week is Bandcamp Friday, and I'm going to perform here live and try and sell my music. And I'm going to have a guest, EM Lord, and we're going to come earlier, 7 p.m. We're going to do an earlier show, and eventually it's going to be integrated to 7 p.m. weekly. So I thank you so much. I thank everybody for tuning in. Let's see if I can get my computer in. Nobody's here, but I'm going to get my computer in to share the audio so I can get some music getting out. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great night and stay focused.